What's going on? Ashwin back again, reminding you to think. That is reintroducing, reacquainting, re-equipping you with what really is your greatest asset, your own mind. You know, thinking is the highest function we're capable of. We have the ability to think whatever we want to think. And I don't want you just taking that at face value, but really consider how beautiful that statement really is. We have the ability to think anything we want to think, meaning you do not have to permit any other people, organization, set of events or circumstances to dictate to you what you should think, with the understanding that if there is anything in your life or that you're observing that you do not like, it is because of your thoughts pertaining to those things. Somebody else may well see the same thing from a positive or advantageous standpoint. And of course, you have the ability to do that also. That reminds me actually of an image you may have seen on Instagram, which read, "Dear 2020, wrong hole," from everyone. Well, the real truth is there are people out there that like it, dare I say, even prefer it, of what another may consider to be the wrong hole. But stated differently, in a more family-friendly way, whilst the current world events for some may be a reason for their unwanted circumstance, it too has been a reason for others to thrive. You see, whilst for one, these events could be a reason for their deterioration in health, for another, it could be a reason for them to find the best health they've found in a very long time. Perhaps they've found more time to exercise than usual, or they're eating more nutritious homemade meals as opposed to instant or fast foods. Similarly, while these events have been a reason for some to lose jobs, businesses, or feel the strain financially, it too has been a catalyst for others to start that business. And many people, several of which I know personally, who are making more money now than they ever have before, relationships wise too. Whilst for some, they may feel forced really into spending more time than usual with certain people and finding out they're not getting on very well. Many others are cherishing that extra time together and their relationships are growing stronger. And whilst many are scared and living in fear because of destructive ideas which have filled their mind, others have taken the time to study and contemplate constructive images, giving them more clarity and peace of mind than ever before. So you see, if there is one great lesson we can learn from this year, more than ever before, is that everything, always, without exception, meets you, really dovetails with where you are internally. That is to say, the results we experience in every area of our lives, whether it be the physical health of your body, the quality of your relationships, the amount of money you earn, your level of happiness, whether you consider these things to be good or bad, are a direct result, really a mirror reflection of our thoughts. The results merely reveal to us then the dominant images we hold in our mind. And with this understanding, we know that we can consciously and deliberately direct our thoughts to shape our lives the way we want it to be, in a way that will guarantee that we experience a shift in results to match our newfound inner state. Now, we all do this. Most people do this unconsciously to their detriment. You see, by filling your mind with images of destruction, ill health, poverty, chaos, and the likes, your mind will willingly return to you more evidence to support those ideas. You'll have more reason to justify why you thought those thoughts to begin with. Your mind will faithfully yield to you more people, situations, circumstances, and events that really trigger the same set of emotions within you. You see, Your mind is a magnificent servant, but it makes for a terrible master when left in control, unattended, with no direction. But if we can take control of our minds, and that's really what I'm inviting you to do here, and we direct it to a specific end, that is, we continuously feed it ideas, information, and images pertaining to what we desire, then that is what begins to take root in our minds, germinates and grows, which is our mind faithfully returning to us the ideas, the opportunities, the inspiration, and anything you need for its realization. Now, that may sound unrealistic to many, as it did to me when I first began to learn this, but I assure you, I haven't just made this up. In fact, many great leaders throughout history has conveyed these same ideas in some way, shape, or form. You may be more inclined to accept these ideas from those that have approached it from the science standpoint or definition of cause and effect. For every result, there is a cause. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. That nothing happens by luck or by fluke. And if we want to change an outcome, we merely have to alter the cause. The effect will take care of itself. But of course, this goes against the way many of us have been conditioned to argue and fight against the result, the conditions, the circumstance, or the symptoms of something, without realizing it that in doing so, we have been a component of the very outcome we do not want. You may look at this from a Hinduism or Buddhism perspective and refer to this as karma. Like energy returns to its source of origination. No doubt you've heard people say, what goes around comes around, meaning we merely have to take care of the cause, seeing as that is the only thing we have complete control over anyway. In Christianity, it's written that you ask and it is given. And again, it's whatsoever you ask for, whether you consider these things positive or negative. For as ye sow, so shall ye reap. Give, and it will come back to you. And again, it's with the measure that you use that it will be measured back. You can also look at this from what some may refer to as a New Age idea, which we tend to refer to as the law of attraction. Simply stated, like attracts like. In other words, the energy or frequency, which, by the way, we are constantly emitting and is relayed and indicated to us all day, every day in the form of emotion, the way we feel, we refer to this as our vibration. And just like a radio, although you can continuously change the dial, only receives at any given point what is being broadcast on the frequency it's tuned into. It's the same way that the results we receive in our life are always in harmony with our vibration, which means that if you can practice predominantly being in a positive vibration, feeling good, despite what your present results or circumstances may be, then you will yield to you positive results. And of course, if you hold yourself in a negative vibration, then you are inviting in more negative. So what name we give to these ideas or this philosophy doesn't bear any great importance. We certainly don't need to split hairs over whether my way of looking at this is right and your perspective being wrong, or to follow the mainstream narrative or division. You know, we divide ourselves by religious beliefs, we're divided by race, by gender, we divide ourselves by political affiliation, even our favorite sports team. Personally, one area I'm very active in is the digital asset space, cryptocurrencies. And I find it fascinating that people there even find reason to act tribalistic about the tokens, coins and communities they're involved in, whilst trash talking many of the rest. But you see, history has shown us that we are much more effective and we have a much greater impact on the improvement, the progression and the positive change we want to see in the world when we are united and come together, because we truly are one and the same, and it starts from the inside out. Like MJ sang, if you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. And we also come at times to these ideas of separation and pointing the finger. We all make mistakes, we're all learning. I've seen over the past few months, for example, many people who consider themselves teachers, leaders, wonderful, well-intentioned people, that because of their strong desire for positive change have found themselves caught up in approaching things from the standpoint of fighting against something for the people. But you see, you cannot argue or fight against anything without being part of the problem, so to speak, because you include it in your vibration, you amplify it, and you perpetuate the very unwanted. Remember, where attention goes, energy flows. So how could we approach things in a way that causes the positive, permanent change that we want to see in every area of our lives and the world around us? Well, before I go there, as Wallace D. Wattles points out in his book, The Science of Getting Rich, it will be very difficult to do so if we continue to turn to opposing images, whether internal or external. Remember, we think in pictures, quite fitting for a platform like Instagram, right? What is it you're scrolling through? Some of you I interact with would notice I took a short break from the platform. That reminds me of a line from the film Meet Dave, in which an entity from another planet, is played by Eddie Murphy, comes to Earth, and in observing human behavior and looking at a newsstand, he said, "These people look at such disturbing images." So how do we create this change?